Hey, greetings everyone. It's Leecon, and I am back again, bringing you another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love to have you here. So, on the last episode, I'm trying to remember what we even did. Actually, I believe we read this book. That was the last thing that we did. So, this is the Art of the Wrath of the Lich King. And you might think it's odd because we have not been for the past while, months and months, maybe even 6 months, been doing back-to-back reading episodes like this. I think we did it once when there was like an internet outage and I couldn't play WoW. The fact that I'm doing one here does signify something. And we're going to get to that on the very next episode. But for now, let's dive in to the second half of the Art of the Wrath of the Lich King. This is much improved over the previous two books. For all of the kind of low budgetness of the Art of Warcraft, it discussed the first three games all condensed into one book and their expansions, or at least expansion of Warcraft 3 and Beyond the Dark Portal. At least it talked a lot throughout. They eschewed that for Classic and Burning Crusade Classic, but they've gotten back into it a little bit, along with an awesome uptick in the art, which comes with the notoriety of Warcraft and a bigger budget and a larger world universe to draw on. So we're going to finish off this book this time, so stay a while and listen. Right off the bat, we've got this like plant Shivan thing. I think that's a cool idea. I don't remember ever seeing that, but maybe I'm wrong. The Sholazar Basin. Sholazar Basin is a self-contained environment where the world-shaping titans allowed their creations to roam and flourish. Shielded from the scourge by a powerful magical barrier, the basin has remained a haven from the undead. It is viewed by many of Northrend's embattled races as a kind of promised land. Here you have pictures of this. These red plants, the water, jungle, vines, that with this central kind of like basin with almost like a hot spring bursting up, waterfalls in the background, waterfalls in the front, little huts. The kind of the spires that come up, although a spire around a waterfall I don't think quite exists like that. But yeah, these falling waterfalls, almost prehistoric creatures flying in the background. That's legit. That's how they made this game. Very pretty zone. Not one of my favorites, to be honest. There's certain things I like about it, but to me, it's just too close to being a rehash of Ungoro Crater, which I guess lore-wise is what they were going for. But we'll see. I mean, maybe I just need to have it grow on me some. You know what I think kills it is the little Wolverine and stupid fish people, whoever they are. That the dailies you have to do there and the quest lines involving them is, oh my gosh, dog butt cheeks. Is that a thing? All right. So here we have more, just little, same kind of motifs. There they are, the Wolvar or whatever they're called. There's a picture of them. They look cool. This is like a murky swamp. I don't know, a player in the swamp. Some trees, some jungly type Venus flytrap, catcher plant trees. And that's it. That's all they give us for that. Because as we've noticed, as we progressed, the zone art is shorter and shorter. I would imagine Crystal Song is one of the smallest zones ever in Warcraft, as barring maybe like Deadwind Pass, or at least one of the least involved zones. It's essentially, I don't know. I don't know what happened with there, because it's like a zone that was just baked and cooked up, and then they set Dalaran over it, and they don't really touch it. Before the Sundering, highborn night elves lived in Crystal Song Forest. Oh, that's why it's got this sort of motif that the Nightborn have almost. And protected its trees with powerful sorcery. Today, Blood Elves and High Elves fight over the Highborn ruins. The forest is also the front line in the battle between the Blue Dragonflight and the Kirin Tor, who recently relocated their city of Dalaran to float above Crystal Song. Okay, there's Dalaran itself. There's where Dalaran came from that is now ripped out. I think you just can't see in the dome in Classic. So you just don't really know what's happening with it after it was destroyed by Kil'jaeden or Archimonde. There's pictures of Dalaran. So this is how we're going to get the art. They're going to show you the actual pictures of Dalaran. Maybe the trees versus how they could look in Crystal Sun. The different floating spires of Dalaran. Dalaran is such a great capital that they used it twice. Because it's the capital again in Legion, essentially. I think you go there, Warlords of Draenor, it plays a role, so it's just a major capital city. Here is like the Arcane Prison. Two different concepts. Let's do it boring, which is what they went with, or all these floating cells and water elemental guards. The streets of Dalaran, like a bazaar. Oh, this is the underground, the sewers. Here are some little homes and houses. Maybe, I can't tell if those are supposed to be underground homes. And that's all they give us. Now we're on the Storm Peaks. We do get a very awesome artwork picture of a Frost Giant or a Thunder, whatever, Storm Giant. Dragonhide cloak on his back. A stovepipe hat, literally made from a stove. A mustache tipped with burning pitch. That's not Frostish. A smelting pot belt buckle. This guy has a lot of these themes like this. Shield toe caps just made of big giant human shields. That's pretty cool. They got this person, this artist, this MS. I love his brain. Oh, it's like a full dragon, like the claws are down there. Legends maintain that the benevolent Titans monitored Azeroth from the Storm Peaks in the years following the reshaping of the world. It is further believed that the secrets of Azeroth's past, present, and future may be found in Time Lost in the, maybe that's a typo, Time Lost Ruins of Ulduar. I feel like there's like 100 words in this book. You really couldn't give an edit to it. And then here's that same adventurer and dragon that we saw in Sholazar flying above the Storm Peaks, wrapped in lightning as they travel over the bridges. This is one of the coolest zones ever made in WoW, in my opinion. Here's some just pictures of the buildings that are wrapped around the mountains of Storm Peaks. Maybe this is like inside the Titans. You have these Titan statues holding this Titan orb. Ice giant. A shield skirt. Mittens with shield knuckle doors? I can't tell. Old portcullis as the shin guards. Hey, look at this. The swords. Swords strapped to feet acting as crampons on the icy ground. That's actually cool. This is a very, like a flail made from like jawbones of like dragons or something. Very, very cool concepts. I love it. Oh, knuckle dusters. That's what they are. Shield knuckle dusters on his fists. It's cool. And then, yeah, within here you have some of the various looks of the Titan temples. And if you think about the avatars or the temples that existed, they all, like Freya has her own temple there, and so they each have those different themes. Here we're looking at the baddie here, Ice Crown. Also one of my favorite zones to quest in all of World of Warcraft. It was in Ice Crown that the ensorcelled diamond hard ice containing the armored form of Ner'zhul crashed and became the frozen throne. It was here also that the Death Knight Arthas shattered the throne and merged with his former master. Now from within the brooding Ice Crown citadel, the Lich King commands his undead scourge to scour the world of all life. And here you have like one of those evil Valkyrie things that work for him. But her wings look a little weird, so it's definitely concept art. And then what a dope picture of the Citadel. I don't know that this like scourgy, gargoyle-y dragon motif outside of the door exists, but I think it looks cool. Here you have a picture of the sun breaking through and just providing heat on, maybe from a crystal, on like one small bastion within all the snow. And then the rest is just snow-ravaged lands and spires. Little gorges between ice spires, evil, spirally, like undead scourge kind of areas, lone heroes. Who this artist that does these lone heroes for scale is, I like that idea. A trio of them on the broken battlefield with the spire in the background. Here's within the actual citadel, like courtyard area. You can this is like broken ice leading up into, I don't know if that's lava from a forge or what, but pouring out of these skulls. The gates to the citadel itself, and I like how they match the kind of overall vibe of the helmet of the Lich King. There's the same art we already saw. Here's a panoramic full-page spread of just the windy, forbidding, frozen, jagged lands. Here you have more, but with one hero alone for scale. Us. That's us. All right, so now I guess maybe we'll get some of the frozen scourge. It's like almost like a Yeti scourge. Some armor of the scourge, like lichy, death knighty, scourgy, forsaken, whatever armor. Not forsaken. A few images of different scourge. That's like a light crossbow, but a scourge version. That's cool. Or scourge. I like scourge. And then here, it's just the same ragdoll kind of, but with all these different various outfits you could put on them. And I really do think they use a lot of varieties like that. This is creepy. Different shields that the scourge could have. Maybe some kind of, I don't even know what the heck that's supposed to be. This is like a flesh thing, and you do fight these guys. It's almost like the new version of an abomination, but faster, meaner, like Day of the Deadish or whatever, that movie where the zombies got fast. And then this guy, he's got like 2 chunks of ice or something, and he's fighting. He's an undead. He's intimidating looking. I would definitely need a new diaper if I saw that guy. Not to imply that I'm walking around wearing a diaper, but in that situation, it would be nice if I did already have one on. Here's maybe a dwarf. Oh, I don't know. He's got like these hitched back. I don't know. Are those supposed to be knee guards? I don't know what the heck this is. Maybe it's a human. But they've obviously they're becoming a scourge. Maybe they're Reichel. Yeah, some frozen. That's probably what they are. There's the awesome Sindragosa in the background. I don't know who that's supposed to be. It's just a regular mage, or maybe it's... Well, there's an army of Forsaken, so now I think it's like a Scourge mage. That's a cool picture of a soldier. And then a gross... Those aren't abominations, whatever those things are called. They're like abominations. You fight one in Naxxramas as a boss. Can't remember what their mob form is. You fight them a lot, actually. It's called more Scourge, like foot soldiers with halberd. This one's more of like a leader Scourge, I would say, if I saw one dressed like that. Now, this is like an elf that's become a Scourge. Necromancer. Look at this guy. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. I mean, he looks cool, but he's got like these giant arm guards, shields and weapon rack. That's like his arms. But how are you going to fight? Maybe you just walk through the battle and people help you fight? Or you're using them like this, like claws? I mean, what a cool character. I don't think there's anything like that in the game. There's basically that looks so good. That could be one. It could be cinematic art. 2, this could be like Game of Thrones. How can you look at this? The people that made Game of Thrones. How can you look at this and not feel like the Game of Thrones ripped this off? This is straight Game of Thrones long. I think this is probably long before Game of Thrones came out. I'd have to do the math and look, but I would imagine because this is like 07, 08. And Game of Thrones is not 15 years old. I don't even think the books are that old. I want to reread those anyway. Those are really good. Here's a Scourge weapon collection, an arsenal, axes, spears, swords. I used to love to just draw spreads like this when I was a kid. Nowhere near this good. Now we get a nice chapter on Sindragosa. I remembered we had this coming at the end. The Frost Queen. The blue dragon aspect Malygos is the guardian of arcane magic. The bones of his first consort, Sindragosa, lay in the icy wastes of Northrend until the Lich King raised the skeleton into undeath. Now Syndragosa serves the Lich King as a frostworm, and the full measure of her dark, devastating power is only beginning to be realized. That's cool. What a cool idea. I mean, to be fair, Dungeons and Dragons had this idea long before. It's just that's such a cool. The person that did that drawing is really, really good. Like I'm just getting drawn into the different, to the tail, to the hip, to the magic, to the face, to the wings and the wing joints. I really like it. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons did it first, and they probably ripped it from someone who ripped it from J.R.R. Tolkien, who ripped it from ancient lore. She doesn't. This one she doesn't. She's more like a wyvern, and then they give her the front legs. That's gross. It's like gore on her face. Here is like maybe her bursting out of the ground because she's so giant, being reanimated by probably Arthas, but maybe some other weird lich dude. And here there's like lightning striking. She's rising in the storm. So now they're going to show us a little bit of the Black Temple, patch 2.1. So this is a dungeon that came out early in the Lifeline. The Temple of Karabor was a peaceful center of Draenei worship until corrupted orcs seized the holy site. Known afterward as the Black Temple, the structure was occupied by the Pit Lord Magtheridon, who eventually fell to Illidan the Betrayer. When Illidan defeated, the question remains, will the temple ever regain its former glory? So it's like, this is, maybe they didn't get this art in the last book, but this is Burning Crusade art, basically. Yeah, look at that picture. Look at that. That's a poster right there. There's one of the broken or whatever they are. Illidan looks a little squat there. It's not my favorite picture of Illidan, but overall, what a spread. What a cool freaking love it. Then the next patch, the Gods of Zul'Aman. That's actually in-game rendering. The fearless troll warlord Zul'Jin spent years building an army behind Zul'Aman's walls. In recent times, the Blood Elves' inclusion in the Horde deepened Zul'Jin's fury. Despite its dark magic, Zul'Aman's army was nonetheless conquered, and Zul'Jin was at last vanquished by heroes as fearless as the legendary warlord himself. So there's Zul'Farrak, there's Zul'Grub, and now there's Zul'Aman. That is probably Zul'Jin, who we've read a lot of stories about. Yeah. And I feel like he becomes leader of the Horde at some point. It is one eye. And he's got some cool blades. The Fury of the Sunwell, the fourth patch. The mystical Sunwell empowered the High Elves for millennia until its corruption by necromantic energies led to its destruction. Recently, the Blood Elf Prince Kael'thas tried re-energizing the well to serve as a portal for the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden, but Kael'thas and Kil'jaeden were ultimately defeated. Now empowered with the light, the Sunwell is a beacon of hope for Azeroth. Okay. Here you have, Kil'jaeden as a boss, and he's fighting with Kael'thas or against him. I don't know. It looked like they're fighting each other. I saw this. Phat Lewts. Okay, so this is going to be armor. I was wondering what that was. What do you do with great pieces of art that don't fit into a specific section? You create a bonus section, of course. Enjoy. That's the Sylvanas. And here's a cool picture of Illidan again holding the skull. Some of this probably comes card art, for like Hearthstone and stuff. Why not tap this? Some random bows and swords, and I don't know what that's. I guess a polearm, a spear. Here you have just some Death Knight looking dudes, or armor gear sets, I guess. Probably from PvP tiers. Oh, this is like a distortion in the upload, but it almost looks like Tyrael from Diablo. Here you have like a warlock set, I would imagine. There's a rogue, that's classic rogue imagery from someone. Yeah, there's a Sylvanas. There is a Tyrande Malfurion with baby horns. An Illidan. Oh, this is young. That's what it is. This is from like War of the Dragon or whatever, the Night of the whatever it's called, War of the Ancients. That's. I don't really like the way they've made Tyrande look lately, but the young Tyrande. I like this trio. Good picture. And then here you have a Draenei. Looks like a blue dragon in the background. Oh, I thought I had my phone on silent. My bad, guys. Maybe this is also from some book. I don't know, because I don't know who this dude is with his red and black motif. I wonder if he's a dragon in disguise, and then this ranger. That's got to be one of Sylvanas' sisters. I don't know what that story is. It's probably one we haven't read yet. Colophon that gives everybody thanks, and then that's it. We're I guess I don't know how we get 5 more pages out of this, but we have more art. That's a frost worm or whatever they're called. Those like dune worms, but for snow. So more of the Dragonblight stuff. Yeah, that's all Dragonblight art. It's like random Dragonblight pages that should have been included in Dragonblight section. This is more. These are the spider temples like a new Barak. Again, this could be by Dalaran. Yeah, these are more like the New Barak kind of area. The what are they called? Nerubians. So Nerubian art, but that could go with Dragonblight. And then we're gonna throw Grizzly Hills at the end. Yeah, so I wonder if 94. No. 93. I wonder if the dude that uploaded this. Yeah, because that's 208. So this is like out of order, the guy. So whoever uploaded this screwed up. I don't think we're losing much, but we have Grizzly Hills to wrap it up, which is my favorite zone. So, we did see those couple other pictures of art with the Furbolgs. So our uploaders messed it up a little bit. In the heart of this primordial frontier lies the ancestral home of the Furbolgs, Grizzlemaw. Although plagued by trappers and the deforestation efforts of the Goblin Venture Company, the Furbolgs' most imminent threat comes from the north, where Undrakari ice trolls have begun pouring from their stronghold of Draktheron Keep. And here you have the Furbolg little home, kind of like we saw. There's some kind of temple in the background. We've got lakes and forests. Yeah. Not from a questing perspective, but from an overall vibe, Grizzly Hills is like my favorite of all. All right, everyone. We have this other book in the pipe 5x5. So the next 2 books that come up, we have both the cinematic art of Wrath of the Lich King, and we have the art of Cataclysm. So technically, chronologically, the art of Cataclysm came out next. But we might do Art of Wrath of the Lich King first, just because thematically it goes along with that game. I might stick in that vein, because that came out in 12, whereas Cataclysm, the art book, came out in 2010. So they actually didn't release the art book for this until like the time when we're hitting Mists of Pandaria, which is a little bit weird. All right, we got this one in the pipe 5x5. Thanks everyone for tuning in, for watching, for listening. I'll see you next time on Lore of Warcraft. Peace.